There are so many budget IEMs coming out right now that it's getting pretty difficult for any one of them to stand out. But today we're looking at the Zhulinniao JingHong Z3. It comes from a brand most people have probably never heard of yet. The company is known as Zhulinniao in China and BirdDance internationally, but they're the same brand. They cost around 45 bucks and they have one of the nicest all metal designs I've seen in this price range. Having said that, looking expensive and actually sounding good are two different things. And while they're not perfect, they're a surprisingly good little all arounder for the price. So here's what you get in the box. We've got the Z3s themselves, a nice little zip up carrying case, and various ear tip sets in different sizes and materials because not everyone's ear is the same. And you have a lot of options here to make sure you get the right fit and seal. The Z3s use two dynamic drivers in each side, one 10mm driver and one smaller 6mm driver. The shells are made from CNC machined zinc alloy. The cable uses a standard detachable 2-pin connection, and you can get different versions depending on whether you need a microphone or USB-C. It also has a built-in DAC with support for 24-bit 96 kHz audio. This makes it a simple plug-and-play type situation with your phone or laptop. You don't need an external DAC or amp. Specs aside, honestly the reason these caught my attention was the aesthetics and design. These look and feel considerably more expensive than they are. The shells have a detailed cloud-style pattern cut into the outside, and because they're metal, they feel solid and heavy in hand. The cable's decent, the connectors fit securely, the slider actually stays where I put it. I wish the entire cable was braided up to the connection point, but at this price, it's more of a wish list type of thing than an issue. Fit was also very comfortable for me. I could use them through an extended gaming session without developing any obvious pressure points, and the cable stayed in place around my ears. For gaming, the directional audio is solid. I could place footsteps and gunshots to my left and right easily, and the soundstage provides enough space that things don't feel trapped inside the middle of your head. Different surfaces also came through pretty clearly. There's enough distinction between metal and wood. I could identify what surface the players were moving on. Gunfire and explosions benefit from the really punchy bass, so weapons have a ton of weight behind them. The bass didn't completely drown out footsteps or other smaller sounds, but it did get a little muddy during hectic moments. The limitation appears when everything gets really chaotic. When there's gunfire, grenades, several players moving, environmental sounds, all happening at the same time. The Z3s don't separate each layer as precisely as other stronger competitive gaming IEMs I've tested. For gaming, they were adequate. I would probably use these for a cinematic or single player game rather than a competitive game where you need to really distinguish sounds and where they're coming from and separate things really clearly. For music, the Z3s have a warm and fairly relaxed presentation. The bass is definitely its strongest area, has a really satisfying punch behind drums, and a lot of low end weight to make music feel energetic, but it doesn't really overpower everything else. The vocals sound natural and smooth, but they can sit a little further back in the mix depending on the song. If you like a really vocal forward presentation, these might feel slightly too relaxed. The treble is controlled, easy to listen to. You still get a decent amount of detail from cymbals and background sounds, guitars, things like that, but it doesn't have a bright or airy presentation. So that made them easy to listen to for longer periods, but it also revealed one of its limitations to me. With a really busy track where there's a lot of instruments and vocals are all fighting for space, the separation can start to get a little crowded. With normal pop, hip hop, like acoustic music, less congested tracks, they sound great for the price. Overall, the JingHong Z3 is a pretty good all around budget IEM. The metal construction feels premium. They remain comfortable through long gaming sessions, and the warm punchy tuning worked well for listening to music, watching movies, and shows. It was decent for games, but not the best, I'd say. I wouldn't recommend it specifically for someone chasing the most analytical, competitive audio possible. But if you're looking for a pretty good all around, affordable first IEM, or just something that looks really good on your desk, then it's worth checking out the Z3s. They've got to be one of the best looking sets I own. In terms of sound, though, I think they can change the tuning up a little bit to make it geared toward competitive gaming a little more. Alright guys, that's all I've got for this one. The Zhulinniao JingHong Z3 is a pretty solid all-around entry into the gaming IEM space. It really separates itself with its premium design and aesthetics, although I do think there's room for improvement when it comes to competitive gaming performance. Still, it's a nice product from a newer company in this space, and I'm interested to see where they go from here. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.